Have you ever wondered why some women go above and beyond for certain men, but stay emotionally distant from others? Why does she open up her soul to one man and remain closed off to the rest? It's not luck. It's not about looks. And it's definitely not about money. It's something deeper. And in this video, we're going to reveal the 6 things women do only for the men they truly love, through the lens of Stoicism, especially the teachings of Marcus Aurelius. But before we dive in, do me a favor. If you're someone who's trying to become stronger, wiser, and more emotionally grounded in love and life, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. This video could shift how you see relationships forever, so stay until the end. The Roman general and the seamstress. In the far corners of the Roman Empire, there lived a decorated general named Decimus. He was strong, disciplined, and respected by many. But there was one thing he never understood: love. He'd conquered cities, commanded armies, and stood before emperors. But when it came to women, he felt like a lost child. One winter, while stationed in a small province, he met a humble seamstress named Livia. She wasn't the most beautiful in the village, nor the wealthiest, but she carried herself with quiet strength. She didn't fawn over him like others did. She simply spoke her truth and sewed his torn cloak without asking for praise. Decimus was intrigued. Weeks passed. They spent more time together. And slowly, Livia began doing things for him that no woman had ever done before, not out of duty or fear, but out of genuine love. And what she did mirrors exactly what today's video will teach you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking. Love isn't grand gestures. It's found in small intentional acts. The kind of things a woman only does when her heart is truly invested." Let's explore these 6 signs. As we go through each, reflect on your own relationships. Has a woman ever done these for you? And are you the kind of man who inspires such love? 1. She reveals her raw emotions to you. Have you ever looked into a woman's eyes and felt like she was holding something back? Like she wanted to say more but didn't? Like her smile was a mask and behind it, there were unspoken fears, unshed tears, and unhealed wounds? Now think about this. Has a woman ever let that mask fall for you? If she has, then you're one of the few. Because here's the truth most men don't realize until it's too late. A woman might laugh with many. She might flirt, she might joke, she might even sleep with someone, but she only cries in front of the man she loves. Why? Because real tears, real emotions, those are sacred, and a woman only gives them to the one she truly trusts. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Cassius, a Stoic man. Grounded, calm, disciplined like Marcus Aurelius himself. He wasn't flashy. He didn't have to be. He listened more than he spoke. He had a presence that felt like a warm fire in a cold world. And then there was Julia, a vibrant, independent woman who had been through her share of heartbreak. She had learned to build walls. She was charming, fun, mysterious. But deep down, she was afraid of being fully seen. At first, Julia was like many others Cassius had met. Witty, strong, guarded. But then something shifted. One rainy evening, as they sat watching the storm in silence, she told him about her father. About the night he left and never came back. About how every time someone she loved got close, she pushed them away before they could abandon her. She cried, not loud, not dramatic. Just one tear. That said everything. Cassius didn't try to fix her. He didn't say, "Don't cry." He simply reached out and held her hand. In that moment, Julia knew this man was different. And Cassius knew this woman had just given him something more intimate than her body, her truth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't be ashamed of needing help. You have a duty to fulfill just like a soldier on the wall of battle." Emotions aren't weaknesses. They are signs of trust. And if a woman lets you see her raw, unfiltered emotions, her fear, her joy, her sadness, you are not just a man in her life. You are her safe space. Now I want you to pause this video for just a second and think. Has a woman ever opened up to you like that? Do you remember the first time she let her walls down? Maybe it was on a quiet drive home, or after a fight when she admitted she was scared of losing you. Or that text she sent at 2 a.m. pouring her heart out. That was love speaking. And if you've never experienced that, don't worry. 2. She defends you in front of others. Have you ever been in a room where people talked about you behind your back? Or even right in front of you, and the woman sitting next to you said nothing? She didn't speak up. She didn't defend you. She just sat there, letting others chip away at your name, your worth, your character. How did that feel? Like betrayal, right? Now flip the script. Have you ever seen a woman defend you, maybe in a quiet, subtle way, or maybe with fire in her voice? That moment right there is not ordinary. That's love. Let me tell you a story. Maybe it feels a little like your own. There was a man named Leon, a builder by trade, hands rough with work, soul soft with love. And there was Anna, sharp-witted, elegant, fiercely loyal. One night at a small dinner with friends, someone joked about Leon's career. "You still laying bricks?" They smirked. "When are you going to get a real job?" Everyone laughed, except Anna. She leaned forward, calm, poised, eyes locked on the man who mocked the love of her life. She said, "Leon builds homes with his hands, places where families sleep safely at night. Tell me, what do you build?" Silence. You see, when a woman loves a man, she becomes his shield in the moments he can't or shouldn't defend himself. And here's the thing. She doesn't do it to prove anything. She doesn't do it to impress you. She does it because love, real love, carries a deep sense of protection, a kind of loyalty that Marcus Aurelius himself would admire. He once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." That's what a woman in love sees in you, a good man, even when others don't, even when you forget it yourself. Think about your own love story for a second. Was there ever a time your girl stood up for you? Maybe it was small, like when her friend made a snarky comment and she shut it down. Maybe she told her parents to respect your dreams even when they didn't understand. Those moments, those tiny battles, they say everything. They say, "I've chosen this man, and I will protect his name even when he's not looking." Now, if you've never had that, maybe it's because you've been around the wrong women, or maybe it's because you haven't fully stepped into the kind of man who commands that kind of loyalty. But don't worry. This video is your mirror and your map. You're not watching this by accident. You're here because you want to understand love, not the shallow version, but the kind that builds empires quietly, one moment of loyalty at a time. And if you've ever felt that kind of loyalty from a woman, hold on to her. She's not defending your ego. She's defending your essence.
She supports your mission, not just your comfort.
Have you ever had a woman who believed in you, not just when things were easy, but when you were chasing something no one else understood? Maybe it was your dream to start a business, or your decision to leave a safe job for something uncertain, or your desire to become more, not just for the world but for yourself. Did she encourage you? Or did she try to pull you back into the comfort zone? There's a big difference between a woman who loves your presence and a woman who loves your purpose. Let me tell you a story. Maybe this will sound familiar. Maybe it's your story. There was a man named Elias, quiet, ambitious, not flashy. His dream was to become a writer. Not for fame, but because words were how he made sense of the world. Every night after his day job, he would sit at a small desk and write, hour after hour. No applause, no audience, just raw belief. Most people laughed at him, told him to be realistic. Even his ex-girlfriend once said, "You'll never make money from that." But then he met Mira. She didn't roll her eyes at his dream. She leaned into it. She brought him coffee while he typed at midnight. She read his pages, even the bad ones. She asked questions like, "What's the message behind this chapter?" She didn't just love the man, she loved his mission. And you know what? That kind of support changes everything. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." A woman who loves you will never try to control your mission. She'll align with it. She'll remind you of your strength when the world tries to make you forget. Now pause for a moment and think about your life. Has there ever been a woman who did this for you? Maybe she sent you a message the night before your interview. "You've got this." Maybe she stood by you while you built something from scratch, even when the money wasn't coming in. Or maybe she told you, "I don't care how long it takes. I believe in you." That's not just love. That's devotion to your potential. It's rare, and it's powerful, because let's be real. There are plenty of women who want the man you've already become, but very few will invest in the man you're trying to become. And if you have or had a woman like that, then you know what I'm talking about. Her love isn't based on what you can give her today. It's rooted in who she knows you're destined to be tomorrow. So here's the real question. Are you surrounding yourself with people who comfort your laziness, or people who challenge your greatness? A Stoic man, as Marcus Aurelius would say, doesn't chase easy pleasure. He pursues meaning, legacy, impact. And the woman who sees that in you, she's not just your partner, she's your co-creator. 4. She tries to improve herself for you. Have you ever seen a woman change? Not because you asked her to, not because you pressured her, but simply because she loved you? Maybe she started reading books you liked. Maybe she became more patient, more understanding. Maybe she even started healing old wounds just to be a better version of herself for you. If you've experienced that, my brother, then you've touched a love most men only dream of. Let me tell you a story you might relate to. There was a man named Darian. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. But he had something, a deep sense of self, a quiet strength. He was trying to live a disciplined life. Gym at 6 a.m., meditation, no distractions. He was building himself day by day, brick by brick. And then there was Lila, beautiful, wild, unpredictable. She smoked, partied, stayed out late. She was chaos wrapped in a stunning smile. When they first got together, it was rocky. Darian told her, "I'm not judging your lifestyle, but I'm going in a different direction." Now here's where it gets powerful. Instead of walking away or fighting him, Lila reflected. She started waking up earlier just to sit in silence with him. She stopped drinking so much because she wanted to remember their moments clearly. She even started journaling, something she once laughed at. Why? Because she saw the man he was becoming, and she didn't want to be left behind. Not out of insecurity, but out of love. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." But sometimes the right woman flips that quote on its head. She becomes strict with herself because she's chosen to grow beside you. That's not weakness. That's not submission. That's evolution out of love. Now think about your own story. Has a woman ever changed for you? Not in a dramatic way, but in small, intentional ways? Maybe she started taking care of her health because she wanted to match your energy. Maybe she worked on her attitude, learned to argue less and listen more. Maybe she faced her own childhood pain because she didn't want to pass it on to the future you might build together. That's love in its purest form. And if you've never experienced it, don't feel left out, because what you accept in your life determines what you attract. A woman will only rise if you give her a reason to, if you show her your rise. And when she sees your discipline, your vision, your values, she'll either step up or step away. So ask yourself, are you living a life that inspires a woman to grow beside you? Because when she begins to evolve, not for the world, not for Instagram, but for you, that's sacred. That's not a relationship. That's a partnership of transformation. And that kind of bond, that's the one that doesn't just last, it elevates. 5. She listens to you, even when you're silent. Have you ever sat with someone, said nothing, and still felt completely understood? If you felt that with a woman, cherish her, because most people listen only to respond. But when a woman loves you, she listens to feel you. Let me take you into a story you might find pieces of yourself in. There was a man named Ray, strong, stoic, the type of man who didn't complain. He was the one others leaned on. He carried burdens in silence like a true student of Marcus Aurelius. His pain had a quiet dignity, but inside he often felt like he was drowning. Now Ray had been with women before, some beautiful, some fun, but none of them hurt him. Not really. Until he met Amira. One evening after a long day at work, Ray came home. He didn't say a word, just dropped his bag, sat on the couch and stared into the distance. No TV, no phone, just silence. Amira walked in, saw him and didn't ask, "What's wrong?" She didn't say, "Talk to me." She simply sat next to him, placed her hand on his knee, and waited. After a few minutes, Ray finally spoke. "I feel like the world expects me to be unbreakable. But lately, I don't even know who I'm being strong for." Amira didn't interrupt, didn't offer solutions. She just listened. And in that moment, Ray realized something powerful. He wasn't alone. He was seen. And more importantly, he was heard, even in silence. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When a woman loves you, she tunes herself to your emotional colors. She sees the storm in your eyes before you say a word. She hears the fatigue in your silence, the pain behind your smile. That's not just emotional intelligence. That's emotional intimacy. Now I want you to ask yourself honestly, has a woman ever listened to the parts of you that had no words? Maybe you were stressed and she made you tea without asking. Maybe you were overwhelmed and she turned down the lights, lit a candle and just held you. Maybe she knew when to give you space and when to pull you close. That kind of woman doesn't just want to hear your voice. She wants to understand your soul. And if you've never experienced that, don't worry. You're not broken. But understand this. You attract that kind of listening when you become that kind of presence, when you live with intention, when you carry yourself with the kind of depth that demands quiet respect. Because the truth is, real women don't fall in love with your words. They fall in love with the energy behind them and the silence that surrounds them. So when a woman listens not just to what you say, but to what you feel, know this. You're no longer just a lover in her life. You've become her safe place. 6. She shares her vulnerability with you. Have you ever looked into the eyes of a woman and seen her drop every wall? Every mask, every layer of protection just for you? Have you ever witnessed her voice crack while telling you something she's never told anyone before? That's not weakness. That is trust. That's love in its most sacred form. Let me tell you a story that might feel a little like yours. There was a man named Kian. He was tough, smart, quietly driven. He'd seen his fair share of pain, so he wasn't the type to fall easily for someone's charm or pretty words. Then came Zoya. Bright, energetic, always laughing, always lighting up rooms. But one night, the light dimmed. They were sitting on the rooftop, the stars watching in silence. Kian noticed she was quieter than usual. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. So he just asked gently, "What's on your mind?" Zoya hesitated, then the dam broke. She spoke about her childhood, the things that scarred her, the nights she cried herself to sleep when no one cared, the trust issues, the fears of never being enough. She wasn't just talking, she was bleeding emotionally. And Kian? He didn't interrupt. He didn't judge. He held space. In that moment, something changed between them. She wasn't just a woman he liked. She became a woman who trusted him with her rawest truths. And if a woman ever does that for you, don't take it lightly. Because Marcus Aurelius said, "When pain is unbearable, it destroys us. When it does not, it is bearable." A woman in love shows you the pain she has learned to bear, not because she wants pity, not because she's seeking attention, but because she wants to show you the real her, the one behind the makeup, behind the attitude, behind the walls. That's not something every man gets to see. That's a privilege. Now think about your own story. Have you ever held a woman while she trembled through telling you the truth? Have you ever watched her eyes fill with tears? Not because she was angry, but because she finally felt safe enough to let them fall? If so, my friend, you were trusted with her heart. And if you've never seen that vulnerability from a woman, it's not because it doesn't exist. Maybe no one made her feel safe enough to show it. Because real women, emotionally mature, loving women, don't hide their scars out of shame. They hide them until they find a man who won't run away when he sees them. A man who doesn't flinch at emotional truth. A man who says, "I see all of you, and I'm not going anywhere." So ask yourself now, are you the kind of man a woman can cry in front of, without fearing she'll be called weak? Are you the kind of presence that doesn't just excite her, but heals her? If the answer is yes, you're not just in her life. You're in her soul, and that is where real love lives. The lesson of Decimus. Remember Decimus and Livia? When he was injured in battle and lost his rank, most of his friends vanished. But Livia stayed. She cleaned his wounds. She sold her sewing work to buy his medicine. She reminded him that even without a title, he was still the man she chose. And one night he finally asked, "Why do you do all this for me?" Livia looked him in the eye and said, "Because I love the man, not the medals." So many men chase affection, approval, and beauty, thinking these are signs of love. But Marcus Aurelius would tell you true love is revealed in character, not charm. If a woman opens her emotions to you, defends your name, supports your mission, gives freely, adapts with balance, and stays through the storm, then understand this: you are loved deeply, fully, uncommonly. The real question is, are you the kind of man who deserves that kind of love? Because love is not just something we receive, it's something we rise up to match. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.